What's going on, everybody? This is your boy D from DNC Digital. Hope everybody's doing well. I am just waiting for Baby D. Me and Baby D are going to talk about her career and the Mission Pro Wrestling show coming up called Hell Hath No Fury. What's going on? BK Ubi 25. What's going on, bud? Hope all is well. So yeah, I will be sponsoring that show. It's going to be an all-women show. It's going to feature all women, and including all women in the commentary team, the producers, everybody on the crew is a woman, and I'm pretty proud to be a part of that. Duke the Dumpster Drosy, what's going on, sir? Hope all is well. Duke the Dumpster Drosy, former WWF wrestler in the 90s. So let me try to find her. Hold on one second. Okay, there you go. I see you now, Baby D. Good to see you too, sir. Oh yeah, Duke. So I'm now sponsoring Mission Pro Wrestling's Hell Hath No Fury, which is an all-women show. And I'm going to talk to Baby D right now. Live with me, excuse me. What's going on, Baby D?
Oh, nothing. What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm good. I think this is probably like my maybe second time Facebook or living on Instagram. I don't ever go live on
Oh,
Instagram.
that's good. Hey, check it out. We got Duke the Dumpster Drosy on the chat right now.
What's up?
Yeah, I interviewed Duke about a month ago on my podcast, and we remained friends, which is still kind of surreal to me, seeing how I watched him wrestle growing up. I remember him getting to number 30 at the Royal Rumble. How you doing, though? How's everything?
Man, I'm good. It's Sunday. It's my cleaning day. I've been cleaning. I did some cooking. We had some enchiladas,
Oh, you had
chilling.
enchiladas. Okay.
Yeah, man.
So
I
what
mean,
kind of
beef and
what
chicken.
kind of enchiladas were they?
Beef and chicken.
Okay. There's some rice and beans on the side?
Rice and beans on the side, brother.
Nice, nice. But you're originally from Dallas, so it's something that I always ask everybody from their own city. Where do I go to eat when I go to Dallas? Where do you recommend for me to go to eat?
Okay, so there's a couple places actually.
Okay.
There's this little restaurant because okay. So people like they associate Dallas like Fort Worth and Dallas like everybody says that's one. That's not the case. Like Fort Worth separate. So I'm from Fort Worth technically. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell you in Fort Worth because I don't go to Dallas very much. So in Fort Worth, there's this little taqueria place that's over off of Seminary and McCart. Don't get me to lying. I don't know their names, but I don't know its name, but I can tell you it's right by the tire shop right there. And that place is great. You like that's like real Mexican because my family's like Mexican, so like I
Mhm.
know where all the real Mexican places are. And then there's Gus's Chicken if you want some good fried chicken. That's over.
Oh, fried chicken. Fried chicken's. Oh, I love fried chicken. I love some good soul food. I grew up eating Peruvian food. That's where my family's from, and my girlfriend and I, we just love cooking together. And whenever we go somewhere, I don't want to eat somewhere where there's a restaurant that also has a location where I'm at. I want to eat somewhere where it's a hole in the wall. It's a privately owned business because where I grew up in Elizabeth, New Jersey, it was all privately owned businesses, and that's what reminds me of my childhood. You know,
Yeah.
like what really drives the city. You can see the people's passion and everything that they're cooking and eating. But so you are booked for Mission Pro Wrestling. Hell Hath No
Um,
Fury, and it's an all women's show, and I'm proud to be a part of it. I'm proud to be supporting you guys. I'm gonna be there with you guys at my own table. Talk about how that came about. Talk about Thunder approaching you, and then how you felt about. Oh look, Brittany Nicole is on. I just had her on the live on Tuesday. Um, but yeah, talk about the decision of getting booked onto the show and what it meant for you.
well, okay, so Thunder and I are like, we're friends. We're good friends. We've been friends for a while now, couple years. So real fast, like I tell people all the time, I did not know who in the world Thunder Rosa was until the like very first show that I was on with her. And then I was like, oh, okay, hey, what's up? Didn't even know that she was the owner of that promotion. Okay, I was like, all right, cool. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Thunder Rosa, what's going on? There's the boss. We have to be on our best behavior right
I
now.
know, right? Well, I tell her all the time. I'm like, man, I didn't even know who you were. Like, come on now. Aw, what's up,
What's
boo?
going on, Thunder?
But yeah, so like basically Thunder, Brian, you know, they're all like family now. So after that first show, everything was God. But yeah, we're like,
I'm just the interviewer. I let you guys have your moment to yourselves. That's
I know, right? It's cool. But yeah, no, we're so basically like when last year they approached me about doing you know, new promotion and Mission Pro, I was all down for it. And then this time around I was the first one to be like, hey, what's up, bro? Bro. Just, I'm already booked, right? So yeah, you know, and then all girls, that's gonna be great, you know, from all the way down to the commentary, all the way down to the announcer, DJ, everything, you know, full on females. That's, you know, that's women's empowerment right there. So it's gonna be a great
yeah.
show.
Let's stay on that topic a little bit. So, you know, the big mainstream promotions, they have their women, and those women have their spotlight. Now, a lot of times, for example, they'll just cry about it and say, "Oh, nothing's going on with Sasha Banks. They're not using her correctly." And then so she wins the title, and then now they're not using Asuka correctly. How can they take the title away from her? Why are they doing this? So, what she have to do?
She
Okay,
said she gotta
5
go to sleep.
a.m. Nice.
I love you too, boo. I gotta wake up
Love you
early
too, Donna.
too, but whatever.
Much
Sunshine.
appreciated. Much appreciated. So the thing is, the spotlight has to stay on one woman at any certain time because of the one championship or the tag team championships, or they go across the brands and they have their own championships. So it's usually like 3 or 4 women up here, and everybody has to be the supporting character. But now with Mission Pro Wrestling, the spotlight is so broad, and it's able to spotlight all the women in one show. You're not taken down to 2 or 3 matches of the show. The entire show belongs to women. So how do you feel this is going to help women's wrestling for the future?
I think it's gonna really help because, you know, we already have shown that we can do things that guys can do, and now it's just about showing, you know what, we can run a whole promotion by ourselves too. Don't worry about that. Like, you know, so I'm always that type of person. I'm that INDEPENT, you know what I mean? You know, I'm already that independent person. Like, I'm that straight up, like, I don't need a man and type person, okay? And so I'm full on, like, with all the women.
I'm sorry, you already got a fan with my girlfriend over here. I saw from the corner of my eye. 1 second, from the corner of my eye, I saw this. You're gonna love meeting her. She's gonna go to the show too.
Oh, yes. I'm telling you, I'm like one of those. I mean, you know, like I said, women empowerment and the what Mission Pro is doing is awesome because it really proves to our younger girls, and that's what I think that, like, I love my younger crowd. I love the younger crowd. And it's because it shows those younger girls, you know what? It doesn't matter your size, it doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter how you act. It's a matter of if you could do it yourself. And us as females being in that ring, being able to be on commentary, being able to do announcements, being able to do DJing, it shows that you can be a woman and do all that that a man can do. And that's what's about. To me, that's what entertainment's about. And you're totally right. If we're there and we're doing only, if we only see Sasha Banks as the champion and she's this and this, then what about the other girls? Then you're not showing what they can do as a person too. And that's sometimes unfair. And then the great thing is that you have all these varieties of people and varieties of style that's going to be on this one show, and you're going to be able to see all of them, and then you can follow them, and you can go here and you can go there, and that's all. That's what wrestling's about. That's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
You know, when I was a kid, I did have those wrestlers that I would always gravitate toward, and that actually were inspiring. I mean, to be totally corny, I had people that I looked up to. So, can you look back at any story of any little girl that came up to you after the show, and you know what kind of feeling you had when they told you, like, "Wow, I liked your stuff," or "I want to be like you," or like just and all that attention coming from that little girl? What kind of talk about the platform that you have, like you were speaking
Oh,
about.
for sure. So, I know that we're talking about Mission Pro, and they're another company that I wrestle for here in Dallas, locally. There's this young girl. Her name is Grace. Me and her mom, Gracie, her mom and I have became amazing friends. So a couple years ago, I was booked on this. It's a Mexican lucha show, but it's in a Mexican restaurant at that. Okay. And so she never wanted to go to a wrestling show, and all of a sudden they were like, come on, we're gonna go over here, but you have to go because we don't have a babysitter. So she went, and she fell in absolute love with me so much that, like, afterwards, like, they don't she's standoffish, like, she's like, hey man, bruh, get away from me, like, type of person. But not me. She like ran up, she gave me a hug, she like told me how much fun she had, and ever since then she's been at almost every show that I'm at. And like, that's the type of things that you want to do for a female, and that's what you want to do, is you want to show her that, like, hey, you know what, whatever's going on in your world, forget that for a moment, let's focus on this. And that's the awesome thing about being able to wrestle in front of younger crowds. And I remember her, like, literally, like, I talk to her mom almost every day.
Um, there was a post that you put up, and I thought it was hilarious, but it also makes you kind of think a little bit because it says, "No, honey, you're not prettier. You're only skinnier." And I loved that. That was so great because I'm sure. I mean, there are a lot of women that they think the wrong way as far as other women of other sizes and stuff. And I know you have some posts that are very, very body positive. Um, what do you think you can do for people going out there and being a strong woman and having such a strong character and winning your matches? What you can do for somebody of a certain size?
I think it shows them that it's not about size. It's about your commitment. It's about who you are as a person. And that I actually have that shirt. So it says, "No, honey, you're not prettier than me. You're not. You're just skinnier than me." I have that shirt. I actually have that shirt. Physically, it's a halter top and all. I don't wear it that often because I have really big boobs, so it just rolls over and you can't really see it. But uh, but yeah, no, I absolutely love that shirt, and I love that saying, just because, like, we are in that world. Like, a few years ago, we were in that world where everybody wanted to be skinny. Everybody wanted to be this person who had this body, abs, everything like that. Everybody wanted the Thunder Rosa body. She has a great body. So the first person let's compare her to, Thunder Rosa. Everybody wanted that Thunder Rosa body. Myself, I've always been big. My whole family's big. My sister is the only skinny one out of all of us, okay? So growing up, I was like, man, I want to be skinny. I want to be this. But then sooner or later, I just fell in love with myself. And that's what, like, my character's all about. My character's all about showing that you can fall in love with yourself and you can do each and every one of these things. And that's what life's about. Once you fall in love with yourself, you're happy no matter what. And I mean, I'm not always happy, but I'm happy with myself. I have things that go on and things, life hits me. But being positive and being able to be, what, I'm happy with who I am in my own skin, means a lot more to people than having it going out there and being in a Thunder Rosa body, worried about, oh, are my abs going to look good this time around?
Waking up at 5 in the morning.
I'm just saying, she's my girl. I love her, so I'm gonna let her do whatever she wants with her body because I love her so much. But you have those girls that, like, that's all they're focused on. They're focused on waking up early in the morning, going out, eating right, eating healthy. I'm sorry, but baby, if I want to eat a chocolate chip cookie in the middle of the night, I'm gonna eat a chocolate chip cookie in the middle of the night.
When was it that you started having that moment of self-acceptance and started loving yourself, like you say?
Um, I think I've always, like, been that type of person, like, snap, snap, snaps. But really and truthfully, I got out of a really rough relationship, and I think it was like maybe the last few years of that relationship where I was just like, you know what? This is me, and this is who I am, and this is what I'm gonna love. And that's kind of where you have to really figure out, like, do you love yourself enough to leave, or do you love yourself enough to stay? Like, like how much do you love? Like, and that's kind of where it was. So a few years ago is kind of where I was just like, this is me. Like, honey, I'm not going to change. There's no way I'm waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to the gym. There's no way I'm going to the gym at 10 o'clock at night when I want to go to sleep. There's just not. So you know what? God's blessed me in this body, and that's how I gotta be.
When when people, even just saying that you're a wrestling fan, sometimes you get these looks from people. You go,
It's connecting, so give me a sec.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, go ahead. Now it's connected again. What's going on?
No, when you get looks and hey, movies aren't real either, just calm down. So I imagine when you decided that you were going to become a professional wrestler, you probably got even more looks. So can you talk about your family's response or their reaction to you deciding that you were going to start training and start doing this professionally?
I've told a lot of people this, and a lot of people get tired of me repeating this, but I'm third generation. So my grandfather wrestled, my mom wrestled, and I wrestled. Excuse me. So everybody was kind of like, "Oh shit, you want to
That's
wrestle?"
right. Wait a second. Your mom was it? I'm sorry. Was it your father or your mother that wrestled?
My grandfather wrestled, and my mother
And then your
wrestled.
mom, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Now there was a very interesting fact about your mom that you said on the Facebook Live the other day.
Oh, what about her? About my
Oh
grandfather?
man. No, about your mother.
Oh, well, she wrestled at the
I
Sportorium.
I know she wrestled, but I think you named an opponent or something. I should have written it down, but I was just enjoying the story so much. But yeah, you are third generation. Was it easy for your mom to say, okay, go ahead and do it?
My mom's like, whatever, I'll support you. But but my grandfather was the one where, like, so my mom and I have a good relationship now, but growing up, we didn't have that great of a relationship. Lived with my grandparents, so I always say that my grandparents were the ones that raised me, even though my mom was there. I'm
Right.
just closer to my grandparents, so my mom really didn't have too much to say on that. But it was my grandfather. It was like, oh, I don't know if you should. Your body, you're this, you're that, and I'm just like, ah, don't worry, it's okay.
I can relate about the grandparents thing. My mom worked so much because it was only her. So I was with my grandparents a lot. So I say I get my work ethic from my mother, but I am who I am because of my grandparents.
Yeah.
Um, when you think about all those times with your grandparents, and I'm sure that they were awesome because grandparents are just the best. Are there any lessons that they taught you that you still carry with you to this day, maybe into the wrestling business?
Work ethic, like you said, like I know you're saying you get it from your mom, but I didn't get it from my mom. I got it from my grandfather. My grandfather had me up every morning at 4 a.m. outside working on the farm, We're out there pulling motors out of cars, we're picking up junk, and so like I learned how to hustle with my grandfather. So,
Also, you were one of those tough farm girls as a kid then.
yeah, sorry, I'm trying to get closer to the Wi-Fi
Oh yeah,
area.
no worries,
Maybe
no worries. It's all good. It's all good. It's all right.
Yeah, we had a farm. We had, a few animals, not too many, just enough to get by. But
Uh,
yeah, I didn't.
when you were starting training and you were starting your first shows in the wrestling business, what about the wrestling business kind of surprised you immediately as soon as you started?
I don't think I don't think anything really surprised me because I've been
Do you think
around.
being around the business so much allowed you to have some type of preparation before you
Yeah,
even started? For a second, there you go.
Yes, I think being around it so much really did have a lot of preparation because I was able to, like, I already knew, hey, these people are going to do this or they're going to do that, or, and that's what, you know, I think I was young and I can't say I've ever had a really bad experience at a show. I can't really say that I ever had a really bad time. There are shows where I'm just like, and then there's shows where I'm just like, hey, but I don't remember ever being shocked about anything. What's up?
Memes of wrestling, what's going on? Thank you for coming on to the live here with Baby D, booked on the Hell Hath No Fury. And you're getting me excited, like, just to see you, because now I'm starting to get to know you, and I'm like, man, she's gonna like whoop ass over there, and I can't wait to see it. Like, I'm dying to see a clothesline. I'm dying to see, like, the clothesline is one of my favorite wrestling moves for some reason, but I just want to see who has the best one that night. But
Oh, I might have to
when
bring it
when
out.
we
Might have to bring it out. I don't really do clotheslines that much.
I don't know why the clothesline's always been my favorite. When we look at second and third generation superstars or wrestlers, excuse me, professional wrestlers, we always want to do a comparison. We always want to say, oh, that's this person's kid, that's that person's grandkid. Okay, like when the Usos came out and when Ted DiBiase Jr. came out and Joe Henning and well, Curtis Axel, right, and then all these wrestlers, and I'm like, it makes me feel old because I remember having vivid memories, like not
Yeah.
big memories, but I remember definitely watching IRS, Million Dollar Man, Mr. Perfect. But there is that stigma that you get compared sometimes. Did you experience the same thing? Did you feel like you had to prove yourself a little more because they thought maybe they're gonna, give you everything on the silver platter?
No, I didn't experience that because really and truthfully, I didn't go that route as far as the only person that I really had any connection with that knew my grandfather was Killer Tim Brooks, who helped train me. Really and truthfully, that was the only person that like I had any connection with that knew my family. Everybody else never knew my family. So I basically shined my own way.
Um, Tim Brooks unfortunately recently passed away, and it's got a what I got to interview Al Snow a few times, and he's just a fascinating guy to me. And he talks about his trainees being his kids because he goes, I have a responsibility to them in the business. And you had the opportunity to work with Tim Brooks. Can you think of what do you think about when you think about Tim Brooks, and how much did he help you? Any crazy story you got of him? Anything you can tell us about?
I think the only crazy thing is because I've known Killer like my whole life. I have pictures with him, like of me being a kid by the ring and stuff. So I've known him for a long time. And I remember him saying, remember walking in, him going, baby. And then a few weeks later, I walked in, he goes, dumplings, baby dumplings. That's what I'm going to call you. And I want you to do this, this, and this. And I went, perfect, no problem. Got it. Awesome. Um, like that was really like the only crazy story besides him. We're at training, and so if most people most people in the later days with Killer Tim Brooks seeing that he was, his show ran out of a barn that was in the back of his yard that was that held 300 people, had AC. So before the show day, the students trained, and then we set up for the show. So that day we were training. I was supposed to stay for the show, and we are practicing. There was a battle royal going on, and we are practicing going over the ropes. And I'm short. And, first of all, God made me this way for a reason, okay? He knew already that I was not going to be able to jump. He already knew that I wasn't going to be able to just, I didn't want no height. So Killer's ring literally came to my shoulder if I was just standing on the ground and then standing up, so it was basically like double of me, okay? So we're practicing going over the top rope for the battle roll. So I go over, and first time, fine. Second time, go over, and there's this piece of metal that caught me, cut my knee flat out. open. And I rolled my ankle and I jump up and I'm like, I'm fine. And he was like, oh, you're one crazy girl. All right, honey. And I turn around and he goes, well, you're done. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, you got blood running all down your leg. And I
Oh,
had cut my knee open. So I cut my knee, the piece of metal had cut my knee all the way down to my patella and cut all the way through. And I was just bleeding, but I didn't feel it. I didn't think nothing of it. So he was like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, nothing. We're going to tape it up and we're going to get back in the ring. He goes, no, you need stitches. I said, we're going to tape it up and I'm going to get back in the ring. I'm going to finish training. I'll go take care of it later. And he goes, no, you're not getting back in the ring. So we taped it up and I drove 45 minutes to my job for my boss to stitch me up.
oh, wow.
And so Killer calls me later on that night. He goes, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I got 18 stitches. I was like, I'll be at training next week.
Yeah, you are pretty crazy.
So, I
You
mean,
know,
we definitely
I used to, I used to be able to, I used to train for a short amount of time for like a year. You know, I learned some spots. I learned how to take bumps. It was a good time. But do you know when you're about to suplex somebody and they reverse it, just land on their feet?
Yeah.
Okay, they were trying to teach me how to do that. I couldn't, I couldn't bring my knees up. I was trying to just do a moonsault. My body was just like this the entire time. So after a few tries, I landed on my shoulder. And so my trainer told me, he goes, you got to sit out. And I was really, really frustrated, especially because they were just teaching and learning some awesome spots right after that. And I was just had to sit there and have to watch them and just put some ice on my shoulder. But you know, my trainer was telling me, he goes, if I let you stay in there, you're gonna get even more hurt and it's gonna fall on me and I don't want that to happen to you. Can you talk about how you have to keep your frustrations at check when you're in the ring to prevent from hurting yourself?
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a whole thing is like, you have to remember that this is all, we're trained to do this, we're trained to do that, we're trained to do this. And it's all about protecting yourself and protecting the next person and making sure that, if you are injured, that like you do step back and you don't take that leap of faith and keep going because you can hurt somebody. And that's why WWE, like, the moment somebody's hurt is like, hey, you're off the show because of that reason, and so you have to learn how to keep your frustrations under control. But like I was in a match and the girl was very unsafe. I don't remember exactly what happened, but something happened and I got slapped so hard, I think. And I just went, oh no, we're done with this. And I went crazy and I had to take my step back and I had to just go, okay, this is not how professionals do it. Take a step back, relax, let's get out of the ring. And that's what we have to do as a person in general.
What's going on, Adam RKO 10? Nice to see you here with Baby D. So, who is Baby D? Because I know your name now after meeting you. So who's Baby D? Where did Baby D come from?
Well, like I said earlier, Killer Tim Brooks named me Baby Dumplings.
Oh, so that's
Fan,
what it's. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
fans shortened
Oh,
it to
that's
Baby
really
D.
cool. It's in tribute to Killer. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I enjoy that.
Yeah, the fans shortened it to Baby D, and it kind of just stuck, and I like it. I like the Baby D.
I like the Baby D. Is she
Oh,
you
I
know
love you, Eric.
the 8-bit Eric. That's a cool handle. I like that.
He has an
Um
awesome YouTube channel if you want to go check it out.
oh yeah, definitely. What's the YouTube? 8-bit Eric or excuse me, I keep messing it up. 8-bit Eric. Go ahead and put your information in the comments and I'll check out your YouTube.
Yeah, he plays video games and, things like that. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I used to do gaming, but I was terrible at it. I'm like I'm better at talking than I am at playing a video game. I'll just do some interviews. Um, so one thing I wanted to talk about, I was going through your Instagram, and you have a lot of cool pictures with other wrestlers. You're obviously good friends with Thunder Rosa, and you had a really cool one with she's an NXT. I know she changed her name, but it was Lacey Lane. Was that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what I wanted to ask you is like, what kind of motivation do you get looking around you and the people that you surrounded yourself with are getting successful? How motivating is that for you to like just keep going forward and what you can accomplish?
Um, he did wrestle me
Did
multiple
he
times.
really? With
Yes,
a chair?
yes, he did.
Dude, this is 2020. You can't hit a girl, man.
I wrestle guys all the time. It's fine. I love
Oh,
it.
that's another thing. That's another thing that's a hot topic, and I want to get into that. But yeah, Lacey Lane, Thunder Rosa, and you know, you have a lot of people that you're close to, and it must feel so awesome, like just seeing them succeed and seeing them
Oh yeah,
accomplish
I'm
all this
happy
stuff.
for them. I want them to. I want them
No,
to.
definitely. So, how motivating is that for you when it comes to your career and like, you know, like, oh, do they light a fire under you, and do you say you're just a little like a self competing type of level?
I'm gonna be honest with you. No,
Go right ahead, baby D. Go ahead, baby
no,
D.
it does
No.
not. No, I think it's because like no matter how much like whenever I was younger, yeah, that's why I dreamed. Oh, I wanted to be this, I wanted to be this. But now, all I want to do is enjoy life, and wrestling is what I enjoy. And being able to show people different sides of things is what I enjoy. So for me, it's not about making it to WWE or making it to NXT or making it to AEW or Ring of Honor or TNA. It's about showing people that you could do whatever you put your mind to and enjoy it.
Hmm.
And that's me. So like they can motivate me all day long to try,
Yeah.
but
But it's not
ultimately
gonna.
I love my job that I do.
I like how chill you are. Like you know, you would think on the surface like you're like, oh man, I Thunder made it and Lacey made it. I'm so gonna make it to it. You're more like, that's cool. I'll be right.
It's cool. That's right.
It's cool.
It's cool.
So tell us who you're facing at Hell Hath No Fury.
I am facing reality Maddie. Wait,
Rankowski, right? Rankowski.
Kowski, yeah. How did they?
Yeah.
She's new, upcomer, out of the hybrid students.
Hmm.
So it should be fun, interesting. We'll see how
Hey, Bird Ogden Arena joined in. What's going on, Bird Ogden
it's
Arena?
going.
They host a lot of cool concerts and they host WWE a lot. They're the local big arena, beautiful. Hey, and the Vipers too, the RGV Vipers. What's going on? RGV Vipers are the G League basketball team. They're the feeder to a lot of NBA teams like the Houston Rockets. I know Mike Frazier, who used to play for them, just got picked up for the Rockets, and Sindarius Thornwell just got picked up for the Pelicans. And I had the cool opportunity of going there and covering their games, so I appreciate them. Any other sports, by the way, that you enjoy instead of wrestling?
Okay, so couple things is I like watching sports. I love watching basketball. Okay, I love watching
Love
basketball.
basketball. Okay.
Don't get me to lying. I don't know nobody's name. I don't know nobody's team. You know, I like watching it. Okay, I like watching volleyball. I played
Okay.
volleyball in high school and played basketball in high school. But other than that, that's really I mean I don't mind watching football. I'm not a Cowboys fan. Sorry guys.
No, neither am I. No, it's all good.
Sorry.
Don't even worry about it.
Sorry. What's up, Phoenix? But yeah,
Phoenix kid. All right.
but yeah.
So you were talking about wrestling guys, and so a couple months ago, some really bad stories came out about women and what they've had to, what some women have had to experience in the wrestling business due to some idiotic men. And then the issue came up today, I think, on Twitter, or was it yesterday, about intergender wrestling. Um, so with that whole speak out thing coming up, as a male wrestler, I'd probably be uncomfortable just even giving you a body slam because it requires for me to, you know, pick you up with my hand in a certain area. Now I remember when my trainer was telling me like how to body slam. I'm like, okay, where am I going? He goes, grab ass, bro. Just grab ass. I'm like, all right, I guess so. Now with intergender wrestling, the same thing happens. I mean, um, even like a gorilla press. I saw Apollo Crews gorilla press Sasha Banks once, and his hand was there. Like, I mean, so a lot of people I feel like that are outside the issue, and even some people in the wrestling industry are saying that they should stop intergender wrestling because of the possibility of somebody feeling uncomfortable or maybe a hand slipping or how do you feel about intergender wrestling and how do you feel about the issue and what do you want people to understand about your position in it?
I think intergender wrestling is great because it shows it shows multiple things. It shows that a female, as long as she's willing to, she could do whatever a allows her to do. You know, I mean, not allows her to do, but like she could do whatever she wants to do just as great as a man. Okay. But also with that said, she can hang in there with a man. And it also shows that like in an abusive relationship, if you're outside of wrestling, if you're in an abusive relationship, you can hit just as hard as a man if you choose to. Okay. The
Okay.
downside of intergender wrestling is it can teach sometimes a younger crowd that it's okay for men to hit women. That's the
Okay.
downside. That's the downside of it. But at the same time, the intergender wrestling, like I think what's going to have to be understood is we're wrestling. It's, mishaps are going to things are going to happen. Your hand's going to go in the wrong place, but it's a wrestling match. That's why, you know what I mean? And it's a separate thing between being outside of a ring and being abused than to be in the ring and that happen. So like Apollo Crews, military pressing Sasha, like, well, I mean, it's part of the wrestling, you see what I'm saying? So I think that like I love intergender wrestling for multiple reasons. I love it because I know that a guy can hit just as hard as I want, but also I can hit them just harder or harder. And
Yeah,
I
probably.
don't know if he's still on here, but Eric can answer like multiple times. Like I've hit him super hard in the ring, and he's gave it right back to me, and that's because I'm trained to be I'm trained to be like that. I'm trained to hit hard. And I think that as far as intergender wrestling goes, we have to understand that it's a separate type of speak out movement. It's a separate type of that. So intergender needs to be there because that's what's made wrestling, I think, succeed. And it's able to allow a lot of women to get out and about because of intergender wrestling. Like, I think that if it wasn't for intergender wrestling, I probably wouldn't be Baby D. I don't think that I would be wrestling like as much as I have because intergender wrestling is what really made me. And I don't know what's going on Twitter because, to be honest with you, I don't get on Twitter. So,
No, I mean, as a man, I was raised by women, and I remember training, and I had to body slam the girl, and my trainer got mad because I just didn't want to. I was like, okay, I have to body slam her, so I kind of picked her up doing this, like her body was here, and I picked her up like this. My trainer got mad. He goes, bro, you have to grab her. I'm like, I don't want to. He goes, no, dude, we all understand this is how it is. This is how it is. I'm just afraid of a guy who hasn't been caught yet. Now, I don't want to play devil's advocate, but there could be another idiot out there that's like, cool, I have a match with her. Now I can, oh, I'm sorry, my hand slipped, and that's that's what I'm afraid of for women when it comes to intergender
yeah,
wrestling.
I mean, I can see that. I can see where the concern is there. I just think that it's also about understanding that like you have to keep that separate. And you're right. Like there might be guys out there that are still like that. There's plenty. You never know what's under somebody's skin or how they're thinking. They can be one way, and then next thing you know, they're another way. And with the speak out movement, it shocked a lot of people with a lot of things that were coming out because of that reason.
but I think that we can get the attitude that women and men are equal in the ring, then we won't have to worry about that. Right, because as right now, everybody sees us as two separate genders. I think that if we could be seen as that, hey, together,
Human
then
race, like just
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Why do you think it's? Why do you think? Why do you think it took so long? I mean, I was talking to Thunder, and I was talking to Brittany about it. That there was a time the women's revolution in WWE, Hillary Clinton running for president, the U.S. soccer team, women were on the forefront of everything. Well, why do you feel it took society so long that women can finally, more so than ever, not finally as in the first time. I'm going to say more so than ever be seen as equals, as ass kickers, as badass women, Wonder Woman and Mad Max, like all that stuff.
I think it's because, see, it gets a sketchy topic here because I'm very free sometimes whenever I speak, and I don't want to say something that's going to offend somebody, but I probably am. So I'm going to go ahead and say it anyways. I
Cool.
think that our world now is made up of a lot of pussies. And what I mean by that is everybody cries about everything. And I'm not
Okay.
saying that it's wrong to cry about something that happened to you or to state that something happened to you, because, and this is coming from somebody, I've been abused, I've been raped, I've been sexually assaulted, I've been all these different things. So coming from me, coming from somebody that's been there for multiple people, okay, then like you have to understand that you have to, when you go and you start talking to people and you start telling them this and that, then it's about how you say it, okay? And I think that the reason why everybody started coming out is because somebody finally went, you know what? I'm sick of this. We're just going to go ahead and speak our minds. And it could have happened later on, but back then we were scared. We were scared of what's going to happen because we're in a total different world now. We're in this world where everything hurts somebody. Everything, like, you wore green, that green shirts offend me type thing. And that's the type of world that we're living in now, which allows everybody to be able to speak out, where back then people weren't offended by a lot of things, so a lot of people didn't want to speak out. Does that make sense? That's
No,
kind of
yeah,
like
I totally
that's
understand.
kind of
Yeah.
like my theory on it. But I mean, I know that might be wrong. It might be a wrong theory, but that's kind of my theory. And I'm not saying that, I don't want people to think that I'm saying it's wrong. Because it's 100% right for you to speak out. Speak out when something happens to you. Tell somebody. You know what I mean? That's what we have police officers for. That's what we have this for. That's why we have parents, and that's why we have adults, and people that we can trust and friends because of that reason. But it's also about understanding that back then we weren't we were taught to keep our mouth shut, and now we're taught to speak out about everything. And
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what we're moving towards in a world, in our world in general, is being able to speak about everything and anything. And that's kind of what we were, freedom of speech thing happened.
No, yeah, definitely. And for whatever it's worth, I appreciate you trusting me and trusting the whole audience with all that. And seeing what you've gone through, and you're inspiring little kids, like whatever you're doing you're doing it right, because now you got little girls that love you and look up to you. And you're going to have that chance to get more fans at Mission Pro Wrestling. You're going to have people who return to see you and new people who've seen you. I'm a fan already, just talking to you after these
Well, thank
past
you.
half hour, 45 minutes. And so what do you want? What do you want people's biggest takeaway to be from Hell Hath No Fury? What do you want them to walk away with about women's wrestling?
I think walking away knowing that women are just as good as men. Like, I think that statement has to be said again. Like, just because a man has a job, just because a man could do this and a man could do that, that doesn't mean nothing. Because when we're in that ring, we are equals. And Mission Pro Wrestling and being able to wrestle women to women and being able to put on a whole show, it's going to show that. So if you go and you hold one show and a man's show and a women's show, they're both going to be equal in some point and way, because you know why? It's wrestling. And women can wrestle just as good as men, and that's what has to be taken away from Mission Pro Wrestling.
Awesome. Very well said. Very well said. That was good. That's a soundbite right there. That's what that is. Hey, can you refresh my memory? Because on the Facebook Live, I did ask you, who was your dream Survivor Series team? So I know you had a couple friends in there.
I know everybody was shocked that I didn't have Thunder. I still don't have Thunder. It's my girl Phoebe, because you have to have the tag team fun and sexy in any type of Survivor Series match. So you have Phoebe, then you have Bertha Faye, because
Bertha Faye, that's the one. When you said Bertha Faye, I was like, dope. Like when she used to drag around Harvey Whippleman and make him like you are mine. You understand? Like your little ass is mine. I'm the one around the shit.
I love Bertha Faye. I love Bertha Faye. So you have Bertha Faye, and then Lala, Ruthless Lala. That's my girl.
Ruthless Lala, yeah.
And then me, right? That's 5. Wait, or did I miss somebody?
That's 4. You have Phoebe, Bertha Faye, Ruthless Lala, yourself.
Oh, and then Killer Kate.
Oh, Killer Kate. She's gonna be at the show too, right?
She is gonna be at the show.
So when you were in the wrestling business and you were still training and you were still doing your first shows, did you ever run into somebody in the wrestling business that you kind of stopped being professional? You're like, holy crap, it's this person or it's that person. Any conversations that stick out to you?
So I can be very professional or I can be very rude. There's like hardly any. There's
no in between.
There's no in between. I either like you or I don't like you. And
I can't wait to meet you.
If I don't like you, I simply don't talk to you. It's simple as that. If I like you, I will sit there and I will have a conversation with you. If I don't like you, I walk away. And I have been on shows where there are people that I'm like, oh, I just don't like that person. I'm just going to sit over here. I don't really care to talk to them. And then there's people where I'm just like, hey, what's up? How you doing? So, and then there's stories where you're like, oh, that's that person. Dang, I know that person. So yeah, I've had all those moments. I mean, I don't know if that really answered your question, but.
No, that was a good answer. The only thing is that I was asking if there were any wrestling stars that were booked for that show, and you know how they bring back a certain person, or it's like this person's doing an autograph session and then they do a spot, or when it came to wrestling stars, that they booked for the show.
ODB, straight up.
Oh, really? You got to meet her?
I got to meet ODB. I got to tag with ODB at RCW there in San Antonio. I loved ODB. ODB was, oh my gosh. So I got to tag with her and I got to wrestle, being in the ring with ODB, getting to share the locker room with her. That was awesome. And then last year I got to wrestle Victoria on her last tour.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it was Victoria and Taya versus myself and Phoebe. That was amazing. I love.
You see what Primetime is saying right now?
He already knows.
Baby G is friendly, but she's down to throw some hands.
He already knows. But yeah, so I got to wrestle Victoria and Taya. That was fun. And then, especially, and then doing it with my tag partner, that's even better, doing it with Phoebe and then like being everywhere we had been already and then being able to be put in that spot, that was awesome. And then for Victoria to literally walk through the door and was like, oh, I watched some of y'all's matches. Then we're like, oh, yes,
Wow, really?
It meant so much to us. And then And then I got to wrestle Mia Yim before she went to NXT, so that was awesome. And then, of course, Athena, Amber Moon, I got to train with her. And fun fact is, I don't tell anybody this really because I don't want to rub it in, but Amber Moon literally tells everybody that I'm one of her trainees or one of her first trainees.
Wow, really?
Yeah, like I love Athena to death. Like, her.
Have you kept in touch with her ever since she got hurt?
Yeah, I seen her earlier in the year before I took off for to take care of some personal stuff. So
That's cool. That's really cool. You know what? I have you wait right there because I have a fun book that I like to. It says like 500 questions about myself. So now these are the questions that are actually going to make you think. Wait right there. One
okay.
second. If you want to pick up this book, there it is, 3,000 questions about me. So I'm gonna go to any question in there, and it's these actually make you think. Like my daughter was looking through it. She asked me, oh, I can ask you this one. Would you rather be in Jumanji or in Jurassic Park?
Ooh, that's a fun one.
Isn't it?
The problem is, you know what?
You see how these questions like there's so much logic and there's
I'm gonna go with Jumanji.
A lot of things.
I'm gonna go with Jumanji. I'm gonna go with Jumanji.
Do you think you can be like an animal whisperer that they can understand you and not attack you?
I got this. I am an animal whisperer. I've given cats baths before. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Here. How about this? What is your most favorite random fact?
I laugh at my terrible jokes.
All right, give me a joke then. Let me hear one.
They're so terrible.
If they're that funny to make you laugh, then I'd want to hear one.
I have to think of one real fast.
Okay, while you're thinking of it, what kind of driver are you?
What?
What kind of driver are you?
Oh, I have road rage. Thunder Rosa and Brian will both tell you I have terrible road rage. I am a fast road rage driver.
Huh. Let me see. Have you ever texted the wrong person? And how did it turn out?
I have. And surprisingly, it turned out okay.
It's good. I'm happy for you. Huh. Oh, this one must be fun for you. Have you ever been approached by someone familiar, yet you couldn't remember who it was?
Yes, I have.
Does that happen a lot?
It does happen a lot because, okay, so if I talk to you a lot, I'll remember your name. Don't worry about that. But I have a rule at work at my shoot job, okay? I have a rule that I won't remember your name for 3 weeks. You have to be at my job for 3 weeks before I remember your name. So one of the girls, like, she came up to me and she was talking to me and I was like, who are you? And she had already been there for like 2 weeks and she was like, I've been working the front for 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh, well, what's your name?
Well, it's not the third one yet, so you still have some work to do. Man, these are, I don't know what else to pick. Oh, can you tell me the joke now? I haven't forgot about that.
Oh my God. Oh my bad. I thought you forgot about it. Because I forgot about it. Let me see here. I don't know off the top of my head. I can't tell you a terrible joke.
What is the last song you sang in the shower?
The last song I sang in the shower. 7 o'clock. On the dot, I'm in my drop
Wow.
top, cruising the streets. Every pretty little thing's waiting for. I can't sing, by the way. That's another fun fact.
We actually heard that on the way back home, and this is the first time I heard that yesterday in like years. Like as soon as I heard the guitar, I was like,
I pulled up.
anticipating. Where can they find you other than Instagram on social media? Are you anywhere else?
Well, I got Twitter. I got Baby D 2017 at Twitter. And then, of course, my Facebook. You can either like the page of Baby D, or you can add me on Facebook at Stacy Carpenter. I'm okay with that too.
Awesome. Anybody watching right now, you can click there, I think that might be where it is.
Yeah.
And that's where both of our names are. You can follow me at DNC Digital on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Miss Baby D, thank you so much for all your time.
Yes,
it was a lot of fun talking to you. And I can't wait to meet you and hang out at the show. For all those watching, Hell Hath No Fury, September 18th, Buda, Texas, presented by Mission Pro Wrestling. Thunder Rosa will be defending the NWA title at that show. Maddie will be against you. Maddie Rinkowski will be against Baby D.
She said Dose of Reality.
Oh, wow. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Dose of Reality.
Dose of Reality. It's going to be a great show. But yeah, Miss Baby D, I thank you so much. And this is going to be on YouTube in just a second. So if you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. And you got more and more of these interviews coming your way. I'm going to be having everybody from the show on Instagram Live a couple of times a week. Tune in Tuesday as I have Lindsay Snow on at 8 o'clock. Lindsay Snow is going to be the one competing for the NWA Championship against Thunder Rosa. So that one should be good. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a great night. Peace.